Welcome back, Last Request Barbecue Show. Today we are unlocking the secrets of a Texas brisket. Been to Texas, as you know. I went down to Goldee's #1, I went to Interstellar #2, met some folks there, learned a bunch of things, and of course continue to learn online as we all do. And I'm trying to pull it all together and make a Texas brisket with advice from everybody. So we're going to make ourselves a Texas brisket with a few interesting and semi-secret ingredients. So of course we're going to start with fantastic brisket. I picked this one up at dry age. It's already been kind of trimmed. We're going to take a good look at it once we get going. I'm going to cook it on Pitmaster Choice pellets. I chose the competition blend, perfect for this. We're going to make a nice binder. I've got some, check out this fantastic mustard, ballpark mustard from Cressy Mustard, Prince Edward County. Probably going to cook it for at least 8-9 hours. We'll see how this brisket evolves. I'm not going to put the meter in at all until closer to the end. There's kind of two schools of thought about whether you should even measure, but there's no argument about how you probe in and what temperature the brisket should be at. So anyway, let's get going. All right, we are back. We got a nice brisket here from, again, our friends at Dry Age. Let's open it up and let's see what we've got. They typically do some prep work on it. Now you could probably get a, on paper, cheaper brisket at like a Costco. They're just absolutely fine. But you will wind up cutting a lot off that brisket. Now, if you are the kind of person who cuts trimmings off your brisket, then uses them for like burgers or something else, then that's fine. But in my case, I will not be doing that. So I don't mind a brisket that's already kind of trimmed. So let's open this one up and see what we've got here. There we go. Beautiful piece of brisket. It's already, I might do a little fine tuning around the edges. We've got the knuckle here, the buckle, I should say, that's really actually already been trimmed a little bit. I mean, there's a few things here I might take off. If you're looking for the origami of trimming briskets, this probably isn't the show for you. This isn't the episode, I should say, for you. But there's a little bit of soft fat here that I'm going to trim off. But otherwise, it's a well-marbled piece. So I'm just going to trim a little bit and trim a little bit off the sides. I see some smaller sections here that are just going to wind up burning up anyway. Like right around here, I think I might trim this. It's a little bit here, just to kind of trim off my sides. Comme ça, this is not of much use to us. Here, yeah, that's a nice little piece of hard fat. You kind of get a sense of the brisket when you do this as well. This here, really, that's just going to burn off. And when people say burn off, what do they mean? I mean, it's not going to disappear, but it's going to be just hard and crunchy and not good to eat. So, we're just refining. Let's see. On this side, I like to trim this edge just a little bit here. Comme ça, that's perfect. It's just a trim here. It's just making a brisket that's aerodynamic. We leave most of this fat cap on. It's in pretty good shape. Here, I want to trim that off a little bit here. There we go. All right, much better. Let's take a look at this over here. And generally, we're looking pretty good. Take that off a little bit more. And you can also trim off some of this once you're done as well. So again, that's another school of thought, is don't trim too much. Trim just what you need, and if you see how it cooks, then you might take off a little bit more. But right now, I'm feeling okay. So that's our trimmings. Yeah, I'm using the Ginder, which is some ballpark mustard. So this is Cressy ballpark mustard from Prince Edward County, and some just basically in Perrin's Worcestershire sauce. And it makes for a nice binder. And again, the idea of the binder here is to just make sure all your spices and seasonings all adhere to your brisket. So let's get that on. Number one. Dun, 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 dun. Number one is 16 mesh pepper. So this is a black pepper, but it's no ordinary black pepper. The grains are 16 mesh, so they're larger grains of pepper, and that's your first layer. And always put the pepper on first, because I do find when you put other seasonings on first that the pepper just kind of skitters off, and this is all in the search of a nice bark, right? That's step one. Step two, interestingly, and I grew up with this, and this is the Texas secret, Lawry's seasoned salt. That's right, Lawry's seasoned salt. Many will customize or blend a seasoning salt that is similar, but many just kind of mix it with Lowry's seasoned salt, the simplest thing in the world, right? It's been around for a long time. I remember growing up with it. Available at your average convenience store. So on goes Lowry's seasoning salt. And be careful with this. The top is open the way it is. Of course, we're going to do all the sides. All right, big piece of meat can take a lot of seasoning. And the third thing is Matt Pittman's Meat Church Holy Gospel. Now, the difference between the gospel, which I use often on pork, is the Holy Gospel is kind of a mix of his holy cow and the gospel. So it's the Holy Gospel, right? It is meant for beef, and it's a little more all application. And we're just going to add a little bit of touch of this flavor here on top. Not too much. There's already lots of seasoning on here. But there we go. So we've layered on a complex flavor. So let's flip our brisket over. Very nice. Once again, we start with our ginder, which is Worcestershire sauce and ballpark mustard. Once again, 16 mesh. Wow. Powerful, very, very amazing, aromatic. Put some of this Lowry's seasoning salt on it. Let's get our ends here. Gotta hurry up because the bees are gonna find out I'm doing this soon. I got a bee's nest I gotta take care of. All right, and once again, Meat Church Holy Gospel as our third and complex layer continues. Now the rest of the Texas secret we're gonna get to, which is how do you rest it, how do you cook it? Lots of schools of thought on that, but we'll get to that later. Right now, we'll let that sit for a spell. And then we'll get this brisket onto the Yoder. All right, our brisket's been sitting for a spell. Here it is, look at that beautiful colors. Looks amazing, that big 16 mesh pepper. So let's get our Yoder up and going. We're gonna cook this at 225 and we're gonna start for about 8 hours and see where we wind up. So let's get our brisket on. Bigger part, I'm gonna face the hotter part of my Yoder, which is this side. And other than that, we're just gonna let it go. And yes, for those following along at home, I do intend to refinish this. I've been promising that for a while. It's looking pretty rough. Salvation's coming. All right, sports fans, it is now 12 hours, actually, since the cook began. I checked the brisket a couple hours ago, and it kind of had hit the stall. So I guess this is a real authentic Texas cook, because it's hit the stall and just, you know, it was like a 155 and it just was stuck there. Now let's see where and how we're doing. As I said, it's 12 hours later. I was cooking at 225 for about 10 of those, and past 2 I've upped it to 250. So let's see how we're doing. Well, it's looking real good. Nice smoke coming out from the Pitmaster pellets. And we got some pooling on there, which is good. But it's still pretty solid. Get a bit of probe going on here. I mean, that's only 160. There's some good smoke coming out. The bark isn't really as set as I would like. Still a bit soft, right, like right here. 182, so we're not bad there. It's juicy. We got more work to do though, so I'm gonna put it in for another couple hours. We'll come back, I guess, what will be now 14 hours. And maybe I might put that up to 275, kind of bring it home close enough so I can wrap it, and then we'll be putting it in the warmer oven overnight. All right, let's close it up. Let it run for another couple of hours. Let's see where we go. All right, it has been 14 hours. This brisket's putting up a fight. It's like landing a big fish of some sort. Anyway, that's a weird analogy, but there you go. Let's take a look and see how we're doing. Well, now we're getting somewhere. Check that out. Beautiful. A little pooling up here, that's all right. And let's do some temp checking. I want this to be, you know, in the 190s. We're in right there. We're in 192, 193. Here we're in a little closer to 180, but that'll be fine. All right, now let's wrap this puppy up. Now, we got our butcher paper. We're gonna wrap it up. And here's a trick. We're gonna wrap it in this fresh beef tallow that I got from Dry Age. So you're gonna see how we can apply some of this tallow on. There wasn't a lot of fat here to render down and make my own. So, you know, I bought some. So there you go. 2 pieces. Let's move our brisket out, put it on the tray.
overlapping pieces here. Now we're gonna put our brisket down right like that. So you've got some overlapping pieces here. Now, so here is where the folks at Goldee's recommend, and that's a bit of slather of this beef tallow as you wrap it. Others kind of spritz the paper. Some people put the tallow over versus on the butcher paper, but we're gonna do this method. There you go, nice and snug. Wrap this comme ça. It's like a nice little beef presence. Over, keeping in mind where our tallow is on the bottom, right? So we just keep that in mind. And fold that in, right like that. There we go. And that is one well-wrapped brisket. Now let's put this brisket to bed in the warmer overnight, and tomorrow morning we'll slice it up. All right, our brisket has been resting comfortably in the drip ease, which is what this is actually formally called. And now my objective was to get this down to carve it at about 140, 135. Let's see where we are. It's looking pretty amazing. Let's check it out. Ooh, looking amazing. Let's see where we are. Oh, like butter. 130, perfect. 137, 138. All right. Now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to use the integrated cutting board in this. So we kind of push it down, comme ça. And there we go, we got a cutting board. So let's unwrap this and take a look at what we've got. Beautiful, looks amazing. All right. Oh, jiggle, wiggle, and jiggle. Still warm, of course. Got a bit of tallow we can get out of this. Now let's get to carving. I'm gonna cut this part off here first, create some burnt ends. Oh, it looks amazing. Fantastic, all right. When you go into the Texas barbecue places, they don't sell this, they give this away. Let me call Chef Emmett, give it a taste. Hey, Chef Emmett! Try some of this. They give this away at the barbecue places in Texas. It's good?
That one was really good.
Oh, that one's good. All right, now I'm gonna cut it. Now the best way to cut, again, learning from Jerby and learning from Goldee's, is to cut forward and then straighten out this way. So let's, oh yeah, cutting like butter. Oh, hello Ziggy. Ziggy wants to get in on this, I think, as well. That's basically the flat we're cutting. Now let's cut a thin slice. Yeah, see how that moves around? All right, let's take a look at how we've done. Woo-hoo! Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Oh yeah, check that out. Check that out. All right, Emmett. Chef Emmett, come try a bit of this brisket. Give it a try. Oh, pull apart. All right. How is it?
Good.
It's good. All right.
There's more crust on this one than there's the burnt end, it feels like.
Interesting. Interesting. What do you think of that crust with that mix of pepper and of all things, the Lowry seasoning salt and
good.
A little bit of holy gospel? Good?
Mm-hmm.
Best I've ever made? Pretty close? Interesting flavor?
I think it's definitely up there.
Definitely up there. All right. Done a lot of briskets. Can't do too many. Now this piece is way too thick, but that's okay. I'm going to farm some of this out. All right. Thanks, Chef. Beautiful. All right. Well, that's it. That's the Texas Secrets Unlocked for an amazing brisket. Tune back in. We're going to take another try at different briskets. You know, it's kind of like the Portuguese say about their natural dish, caldeirada. You can do 365 different versions of it. So stay tuned. More brisket cooks to happen.